the work that I do and how it relates to my type is that I'm a coach. I do consulting work as well. So I'd say that relates to my type in that it allows me to be free. It allows me to do what I love, which is coaching and consulting work, like working with people really. Like I like to connect with people, and I think a huge part of my type is that there's a part of me that enjoys the connection to people, and it also allows me to withdraw and to be, when the work is done, I'm on my own again. So God, they like guerrilla warfare.
Well, what I do is I work for an investment holding business, and I'm involved in originating the investments and as well as executing on them, and more importantly on looking after those investments. So I basically represent my employer on those investments. And the way it relates to my type, for the way I see it, is that it involves a lot of creativity, particularly in the relationships, and in terms of how the relationships get built and maintained, and conflict resolution in some areas, and all that kind of thing. So it's that I feel that it suits me well.
My relationship with feeling. Let's think about this for a minute. I live there. I live in feeling. So I feel a lot, and I think feelings that are people have would say that they experience me as being intense in terms of like if I'm angry, like I go all out angry. If I'm sad, I withdraw, like hugely withdraw, and I'll go and maybe be quiet for a while.
Before I knew that I was a type 4 feeling, I would have just told you that feeling is everything. Not everything, but is a lot for me. My interactions involve a lot of feeling. My interaction with others, whether it's my family or my colleagues or even strangers that I meet, I tend to seek out some depth in what we have to say to each other. Otherwise, my feelings are deeply internal, if I can put it that way. I spend a lot of time feeling about things. If I'm driving around and I see a particular situation, I connect to it quite quickly emotionally.
I'll tell you an example of how I sometimes show up as a type 4 in my life. We ran a week training and decided. And it's interesting that I don't seem to make a conscious decision. It just happens. I'd wear a suit, come in with flip-flops to a meeting. And people would look at me weirdly, like, what the hell has just happened here? And for me, it's quite normal. It feels good. It feels normal. It feels right.
I feel a little bit like if you know the story of the Jewish race, and their belief, their sense of being special. In their case, being special to God, but which comes with a strong teaching that it does not mean that other people are not special. Part of their being special is to be special to the world also. So while I feel special in relation to my parents, it's a special that I don't feel is a selfish special. It's a special that is there to be exemplary, if I can put it that way. So amongst my siblings, to show how special I am by being exemplary to them. And by so doing, what's interesting is it kind of reinforces the whole thing all the time. So I find it a lot easier to be empathetic with my many siblings. I'm less likely to be the one quarreling with the next one over something shallow. What it does mean, though, is that when I have gone through times of conflict, they've been very deep conflicts with any of my family members, and I find this it's kind of the same that elsewhere, really. When I'm in conflict, it's really a struggle to take it lightly.
I also like to be present in people's lives and show myself and help people to, you know, rise, to make a mark.
To explain what motivates my behavior typically. Even when it comes to being in service for others, I think a lot of it is about satisfying my own need for fulfillment. And fulfillment then comes from seeing the results of my work. For us to look at just an impromptu sort of behavior, it's not always easy to understand what motivates it, because some of it is quite, I have to think about it afterwards to do a lot of work to understand what motivated it. But myself and those that are close to me tend to instinctively drive my behavior and my responses to my environment and to others.
I think the struggle is around relationships for me, in that like my intensity can freak people out, like romantically, like romantic relationships. Like I want to be all gung-ho and, you know, and people sort of, you know, push back, and sometimes I have this longing to connect, and yet I won't make the step to move forward to try and break the grounds and, you know, and really connect. So I find myself being alone most of the time as a result, and yeah, and sometimes sad about it.